So today we're going to be talking about, does your website convert visitors into paying customers? And I know you guys, Brandon, especially you and Beth, have heard this a million times. Oh yeah, my website does really good. Well, how do you know that? Well, my real estate commented agent commented on they liked it, and one of my customers said they saw it.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure that's my definition of a converting website. 6,000 people saw it and two liked it.
Hmm.
And nobody clicked on it.
Yeah.
So that's it. So today we're going to talk about really about what is a converting website, and how does it work, and all the elements that you should have on it, and so people can start taking a look at their own.
Yeah.
Because I want to say right up front, your homework assignment tonight is when you finish the call, from the notes that you took or listen to the recording in the future, you should go look at your website and say, does it have any of these things?
Yeah.
And if it doesn't have these things, then how could it be considered a converting website?
Hmm.
Because all we're talking about converting means we're taking visitors, website visitors, come to your site, and unless somebody's on crack, people that come to your site are generally looking for a home inspector. And so they come look at your home inspector, look at your website for your inspection firm in your market, and they don't go any further. That probably tells them that you didn't provide the information they were looking for. So it can't convert, or it never shows up in the search engine. So that's a problem. So look at your website based on the information we'll share with you on the call today. Go look at your website, and if it doesn't have it, call Beth. Okay, and she can help you with it.
There's the little solution right there. Just call Beth.
Yeah, yeah.
She'll fix
Don't
you up.
yeah, you'll make it happen for you. So I left placeholder up here inadvertently, but just know that's where a converting website would have gone. Okay, I was in a rush. The storm, we have a hurricane that we're in the middle of on the outer edges of, right, really here in this location. So I was trying to get a bunch of other stuff done. So anyway, what the heck is a converting website? I want to start off with this, and Brandon, Lord knows you've heard me say this a million times. So nobody buys anything until they understand what's in it for them. Think about an infrared camera or a drone or any inspection tool that you could think of. So you know you need one, okay, just like a home inspection, and customers, they know they need one. But what they're looking for is the right one. And that's what you're looking for when you buy something, the right one. So nobody buys anything until they understand what's in it for them. So with that said, a converting website allows consumers to get the information they need from your website to convince themselves that you're the right person for them. And I think if you don't take anything else away besides your homework assignment that I already gave you, was you ain't in the convincing business, right? You into providing information that allows the customer to convince themselves that you're right. Now,
Uh,
Brandon, let's think about this. It's 3 in the morning or 2 in the morning or whatever. You guys are all, your family's all asleep, hopefully. And all of a sudden you hear ding, and you wake up and say, oh, that's a website. I mean, that's an inspection being booked.
yeah.
Ching, ching, baby. That ever happened to you?
Oh yeah. It's the best feeling. It's the best thing.
So obviously your visitor converted into a paying customer, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
And you didn't talk to them, did you?
Nope.
That's the thing. See, years ago, I've always done marketing and sales as the owner of the company. So years ago, what happens is I could sit down in front of Brandon or Dale or Beth or anyone on the call and sit down in front of you and talk to you about it. I could discover what your needs are. I could see if the widget we had available worked for you, that it had the features and the benefits and all that kind of stuff. But on the internet, you know what? You're looking at a blank screen. Ken is stage right. You don't see him anymore. Okay, we're going to lose power, Brandon. So that's going to be you. I can see it flicking now. So,
Oh
so
man.
what's going to happen is somebody has to come on the website and convince themselves that the information that you provided is right for them. So a converting website does that. It uses certain techniques, and we'll talk about those techniques in a bit. It uses techniques to convert that visitor to paying customers because nobody's there to talk to you. And
Mhm.
we were in a workshop in Naples a few years ago, and I asked how many people had 100 scheduled online without anybody ever talking to them in your office. 100 people raised their hand. 100. I said, keep your hands up. 200 people kept their hands up. 300 people kept their hands up. More than 300 inspections in 1 year
Yeah.
were booked on their website without anybody in their staff or office talking to them at all. Because they had a converting website, because the website contained the information that the customer needed to make a decision. So when we say, what the heck is a converting website? It's one that people look at and say, "Ooh, I'm calling that dude," or "I'm gonna go ahead and book online," instead of, "Oh no, not that. Back
Mm-hmm.
browser."
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the other things is this, and this is just when I talked about earlier, you don't show up at the top of Google with a non-converting website. And this is one of the things that happens. A person types in a search query, Home Inspector Atlanta, or whatever the search query is. Okay. And so obviously they're looking for Home Inspector in Atlanta. So what happens is Google returns what they think is the best results. And the reason why Google does that is because they don't want you, the customer, the searcher, to go to another search engine. So they give you what they think is the best results based on their current algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say your website shows up and immediately a customer looks at it, 2 or 3 seconds, a prospect, 2 or 3 seconds, they back browser and go to somebody else's website. And if that happens enough times, you know what Google said? That what we served up, that result was not relevant to what the searcher was looking for. And so they don't show you again.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they keep showing you the same thing, no customer wants to see, guess what happens? You go to somewhere else, DuckDuckGo or wherever else you go, Bing
Mm-hmm.
or wherever.
Yeah.
And that hurts them. So they are not going to do it. Okay, so if you have a website that does get shown and it doesn't get any time on page or people back browser you immediately, that means Google is giving you the wrong information and then you're hurt. Okay, so a converting website means that people come and convince themselves based on the elements or information on the website. Okay, I hear this all the time when I'm talking to people. Say, aren't all websites converting sites? All websites have the potential to be a converting site. I mean, from the standpoint of they're on the web. If someone happened to find you, but it doesn't convey information that the customer is looking for. So let me ask you this, Brendan. I mean, how many websites have you and I looked at and just chuckled about when we look at the website, there's no phone number in the first fold, no phone number.
Oh, countless. I mean, we've talked about this, looked at many of them together. I mean, even I was just telling you about all the bad advice that comes on some of the social media platforms, Facebook all the time, right? Somebody recently I saw was asking, "Hey, I've never had a website. Should I get one or not?" And all these other inspectors around the country are saying, "Nope, I've never had one. Never need to bother." I think that's just terrible advice. People need to find some good information, and they're going to find it, whether it's your site or somebody else's site.
What those inspectors didn't say, they had no business. Yeah, oh, we sitting here on the internet just, trying to bash you new guys so y'all will go away and won't compete against us for the one inspection we got last month.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So all websites have the potential to convert, but they don't because the customer doesn't understand what's in it for them by doing it. I mean, I look at websites sometimes, I don't even know what state it's in. It might have a city, let's just say Madison. Okay, is that Madison, Tennessee, Madison, Alabama, Madison, where, whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, how do I know that? Am I supposed to know that by the area code? Maybe the phone number's in the upper third of the site or not in the
Yeah.
first fold? I got no idea. I mean, these are things. So one of the elements I think, Brandon, that makes a converting website, and it's not a ranking, I guess it is a ranking element, really, but it's user experience. If you come to a website that, let's just be honest with each other, sucks, okay, because you can't find any information or anything like that. I mean, what a terrible user experience. Would you continue?
No.
How about now if it had up at top, any inspection, $99 plus a reinspection included. Now you might get some readers. That might convert for
Yeah.
El Cheapo,
Yeah.
and the fact of the matter is, thanks. I'm going to get some referrals now from your customers, which are cheaper than you are. So I can have every headache in the world in the home inspection business you could have. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that doorknob was loose. You didn't tell me I had to spend $3 to do it. I want a refund. Please, gosh almighty. So all websites truly, in the fact of the matter, are not converting websites because they don't contain the elements the consumer wants to know to make a decision for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, the home inspector, here's what happens to them. They don't give the consumer the chance to make that decision. They might be a fantastic home inspector, but they just don't really understand how websites really work.
Mhm.
Okay. And so if that's you, if you're a great home inspector and your website isn't getting as much business as you need, it might be time to say, whoa, I might need to revisit that website.
Yeah.
Because who in the world doesn't think when, okay, so let me say this, when a few of our older customers, the ones that have been around with us forever, came on or got into the home inspection business, they actually had to tell people what a home inspection was. And then they had to convince them why they needed a home inspection.
Yeah.
Okay. But those days were like forever ago,
Yeah.
eons. Okay. So
Yeah.
everybody today that buys a house gets, I need a home inspection. We haven't had to say that in a long time. We read, hi, this is Ken. And I see you're buying a home. I think you need a home inspection.
Mhm.
Really? We haven't said that forever. Okay, even when I started, people knew what a home inspection was. Now there was a paper report, but they knew what it was. You didn't have to convince anybody for it. But today, our friend, the internet, okay, almost everybody. Okay, so let's say your agent, if they're still around when you listen to this, agent says you need to get a home inspection. Here's somebody I like. Well, what do? They go online and they type in that person's name. Maybe they like them, maybe they don't, but they generally go in and type in home inspector, whatever city they're in.
Yeah.
Then they see all of the alternatives to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you might be a great home inspector, but if you're not on the internet and you don't have a site that lets the buyer convince themselves you're right for them, you lose. So great home inspectors go out of business on a regular basis because they're not leveraging this tool. And I make no mistake about it. I mean, is this a tool, Brandon? I mean, just like your laser pointer, your moisture meter, hell, this is a tool, right?
Well, yeah. And honestly, like, for us, our online presence has always been so important. Am I lagging here? Uh, so our website is key to our inspection or our marketing, right?
Mhm.
And we still do market to our agents. We got quite a few agents that we work with, but we never want to put ourselves in a position where we have to rely solely on the agent referrals. So we really broadened our base, but had a strong online presence and website that converts, so that when those buyers, those clients come and look for us online, we show up, we got the best ranking, we got the best reviews, and we convert those clients into paying customers.
So let's just even go further on what you said, because what you said is exactly true. But when the real estate agent gives your name, the customer goes look up you up on the website,
Yeah,
on the internet. They're
of
looking
course,
up that
yeah,
website. And if it
yeah,
sucks, no reviews, no anything, they ain't doing it. Okay. And Beth and I had that exact thing. Down in Placida, we bought a house in South Florida. And guy gave us a name. I looked that guy up. Beth and I looked that guy up. We said, I said, we ain't using him. There ain't no chance we're using him.
yeah.
So we found our own by doing a Google search. So just because the agent gives your name doesn't mean that you can convert that lead. Because if somebody goes to your website and it's horrible,
Mhm.
they're not doing it. I mean, people need to have confidence that you're a professional person, and so many websites don't convey that. They have a terrible user experience with your website. Then they're going to think, "Ooh, am I going to have a better user experience with this person in person? Maybe not." So, they don't know if they can trust you. And, in this business, I don't know what you think, Brandon, but trust is like kind of important, right? I think it's
Oh yeah,
really
yeah,
important. The
for
wind was
sure.
blowing. I was like, what in the world shaking a window or whatever there? The wind is going crazy. So anyway, yeah, I think trust is like the most important thing you have as a home inspector. If we don't trust you, how are we going to trust your report, your findings, your ability to help us through this process or transaction?
Yeah.
I mean, trust, pretty important thing. So if they have a terrible user experience, are they going to be able to trust you in person more than what they saw on your website? There's a good chance you're going to lose some of that business. Maybe not all, but a large portion. Let's look at some other things. I got a couple of other things. Remember, placeholder says converting websites, so ignore that word. Um, what magic elements does a converting website have that gets customers to turn into or prospects to turn into paying customers? I've got a spreadsheet, and I know better than ever to switch off this and go to another site. I do have it open, so hopefully I can do that, and we can have that discussion without any issues. Let's see.
While you're pulling that up, if you don't mind, Ken, I can tell you or share my story, right? My
Right.
website history. When I first started in 2013, I had good instincts. I'll give myself credit at that point.
Hmm.
I knew we needed a website, so I got on some website builder and just built it out of a template, um, and it was beautiful. I loved it, and it had a
Hmm.
picture of me and my truck, my vehicle, woohoo, right? And I said, "Oh, I'm licensed inspector now," and you know, I got a few clicks on it because I sent the link out to my family. I was like, "Hey, you guys should give me some SEO love," right? But guess what? It never converted a single person, and I think I was like, what was the story? I think page 17 or something. Um,
But I did see your mom's review on there.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, and that's actually how I found the Home Inspector Help Savvy Inspector was I found an article looking for how do I get more business from the internet, and it was something like this that you just pulled up here, the 9 elements of a converting website. And guess what? I had none of them because I had no clue. I was breaking all the rules.
But Brandon, you were a good inspector, and that goes back to talking about again what we were saying, and that is that great inspectors in the industry need a website that converts visitors into paying customers. But you know why they don't do it? Because they think they can't afford it. But can you really afford not to have it? I mean, that's my thing. I mean, it's important that you have it so that you can get more sales. So I think your online presence, a website especially, it doesn't cost, it pays. It's an investment in your company's future. But sadly, not everybody thinks of that. Sadly,
Yeah,
not everybody is a business person in this business, right? I mean, you were a technician
right.
yesterday working for somebody else. Today, you're a home inspector. Now you work for you, but you don't really understand the value of investments into your business. So, and I'm not
Mhm.
knocking anybody who's a technician, God bless you, that's what it was. You and I just didn't come from that perspective. So I'm gonna look on this and you guys jump right in and talk to me about it. Okay, effective sales copy. And you know what happens is I didn't want people not to know what that was. So I put it what's in it for them. Because remember, we started off, nobody buys anything until they understand what's in it for them, right?
Right.
So that's what effective sales copy means. But look at what I did. I tried to explain it. So how to make the element converting. Explain to visitors that come to your site what's in it for them. Tell them why they should hire you to do their home inspection. Now, Brandon, if you were sitting down in front of somebody live, would you try to tell them why they should do business with you?
Of course, yeah.
So
That's
why
it.
wouldn't your website?
Well, yeah, I mean, isn't it? I think the stat's like 3 seconds. You got 3 seconds for someone to come to your website before they back out if they don't find exactly what they're looking for, right?
That's right. That's right. And one of the exercises we give our coaching clients, and this is something that really you should ask yourself as a home inspector. Why should someone select you over all other home inspectors in your local market? I mean, if you can't answer that, we can't write it on a website.
Mhm.
Okay, so sometimes you hear that referred to as your USPs, your unique selling points, or it really stands for unique selling propositions, but people don't really get that. So I just call it unique selling points. But to distill it down, really, it means why should someone select me over all of the others in my marketplace?
Mhm.
Okay, and if you can't enumerate that, not only can we not put it on the website, but you can't share it with your inspectors, so they can't share it. But worse, you can't share it with your scheduler, so he or she can't share that.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you hear people on the phone say, well, I'm going to have to talk to my husband or my wife or whatever, then what that means is they're not sold. And the reason why it is because nobody buys anything until they understand what's in it for them. And they didn't completely understand what it was in it for them by using your firm. So that message needs to be redefined, but you would never go to a real estate office or anywhere and not be able to enumerate why you're better than your competitors. So, I mean, that's pretty scary there.
Yeah.
So effective sales copy means nothing more than tell them what's in it for them. So
Mhm.
let's talk about for a minute and I heard that some message to market mismatch information the other day from a client or a prospect, not really a client, but let's think about this. What do home buyers, what's the message home buyers, Brandon, want to hear from us as inspectors, whether it's in person or on the website? What is it? What is the one message they want to hear from us?
I mean, the shortest and most concise way to put it is we don't want to buy a money pit, and
That's
define money pit,
exactly
right?
a good way to put it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the last thing they want to do is move into a home, especially in today's market where they're paying out the wazoo for a house, right? And we don't want them to have more unexpected costs that they didn't anticipate that they probably could have addressed up front when they had their inspection and negotiated that with the seller, right?
Joe Ferry tells me every time there's a lawsuit, he said, nobody says the home inspector told me too much. They
True.
never say that. They didn't, if they'd have told me that, I wouldn't have bought the place.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so they didn't want to buy the money pit either, and they felt let down because the home inspector allowed them to buy the money pit, and now they're litigating. Okay, so nobody wants to, any post-closing expense surprises. I mean, I don't. Just tell me straight up front. It's a yes or no deal. I can fix it or negotiate it or whatever, but damn, tell me.
Yeah.
So if you don't address that right up front, that's the only thing the customer cares about in the beginning.
Mhm.
I mean, years ago, Dan Kennedy told me, he said, you know what, to be the most effective in sales, whether it's direct mail, and that was his forte, or any other type of sales is, you have to understand what the customer is already thinking. So I know for a fact after doing all of these zillions of home inspections our firm did that, you know what, the customer is thinking, I'm hiring Brandon or Ken or whoever to prevent me from buying a money pit.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you don't address that up front, you haven't gotten their attention because that's their big worry. That's what keeps them up at night.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm going to move in, and you know what? The doorknob's going to be loose. I don't care. But that foundation crack, that horizontal crack in that old block foundation with
Yeah.
those 2x4s leaning out like a pregnant woman's belly. Whoops. That might have been a problem.
Mhm.
And the home inspector didn't tell me that the foundations failed. It cost me $12,000.
Yeah.
They worry about these things,
Of course they
especially
do.
first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
So if you're not addressing that right up front, you have missed the boat. You go back and look at your website. If that ain't the first thing they see, woohoo, that's not a
Well,
converting website.
and I've even got, we always do a little bit of market research on just some of our competitors, and I think we've got a handful of guys that the first thing that they lead out with is their InterNACHI license number.
Well, that's meaningful.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that means nothing to a home buyer, right? What does a number mean?
Well,
Whereas,
they don't even know what it means. You're
right.
right.
Yeah, other than okay, he went through a course, but what we're talking about here is how do we get more attention, get more of their time so that we can answer more of their questions, go a little bit deeper than that 3 second span that we have to get their attention, right?
Right. 'Cause if we can't get their attention right off, they don't read on, do they?
Correct.
Because they're looking for the back browser button. So unless you got any home inspection, $99 plus a free reinspect, they ain't reading on.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got to address that big old elephant in the room, and if you haven't addressed that, then that's a pretty bad thing.
Mhm.
So the most of the home inspectors, you know what they'll say? Oh, the home is the largest investment you're liable to make in your whole life. You know what I say? No shit, Sherlock.
Mhm.
Next. You know
Yeah.
what? Really, every time I see that, I want to throw up.
For,
Please.
for peace of
Like we
mind.
don't know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, please, that's terrible. So, Brandon, I want all of your competitors to keep that on their website.
Yeah. I mean, we're growing by 20% in a market that's down by 22%. So
I'm telling you, there must be something there.
yeah,
And it isn't your handsome face on the site.
I wish.
Yeah. It's that sales message, man. What's in it
Yeah,
for them?
of course. Yeah.
Again, nobody buys anything until they understand what's into them. Once they understand, you're going to help them avoid the money pit right off. They'll read on.
Yeah.
So effective sales copy, tell them why they should hire you. You're going to avoid a money pit, make a statement, some kind of write a statement like that. So social proof, the only person that believes what you say, more than they believe other people is your mother.
Mhm.
Okay. Mine, may she rest in peace. So she's gone. I have to rely on others. Okay. So um, people don't believe what you say. You know why? Because of politicians and used car salesmen and insurance people. Sorry, insurance people. I actually kind of like y'all. I came from there. But the other two, used car salesmen and politicians, I actually kind of like used car salesmen better. So, you know how you can tell when a politician is lying? His lips are moving.
There you go.
There you go, Dill. There's one for the books for you. All right.
He likes that.
Dill, our general manager, always just shakes his head when I start. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to edit that out of the
Here goes
videos."
Kenny.
There he goes. He's off script. He's off the teleprompter. All right, I'm off the teleprompter daily. So Dill stays, our staff, Dill has to say, cut that, cut that. So anyway, social proof. People believe what others say about you way more. And you know, there's more and more studies, Brandon. I know you've seen it too, as we talk about it all the time on things like this. The thing is really this, that what percentage of people actually feel like a review from a person they don't know really feels like it's a person they do know? Because they feel like, hey, this person had this experience and they shared it.
Yeah.
So they feel they can trust it.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I think just a few weeks ago we had our call on how to get reviews and the importance of reviews, right?
Mhm.
And so you really want those positive reviews everywhere where that customer is going to see them. And so why not get them right there on your website, you know?
I got a note from Trustpilot earlier this week, and it said, "Congratulations, your review got 18 views."
Oh
And I'm
yeah.
thinking, okay, what was that about? Because we don't use Trustpilot. So it happened to be a company that we bought two pieces of beautiful art from. So we looked on their website and we said, oh, these are fabulous canvases. We really loved them. And we actually took a chance and bought two of them because of the reviews. So when they asked me for a review, I thought, man, that was really it. Not only was it a great experience all the way around, but then I said, why? It was a great experience. And then we got 18 views that helped that company get more business. But you know what? I truly value that company. Their art is hanging in our house today. So that's how it works. You know, what happens is you give a truly great experience to your client. You ask for a review, your client shares it, other people trust you. You don't have to say, I'm Brandon and I have the best home inspection company ever. And our team is licensed by 6,000 people. And, you know, really?
Yeah.
Seriously? Okay. Let's hear what others think about you.
Yeah.
So social proof or positive reviews are huge. One of the most important things about it. Let me say this about a converting website and social proof for a minute. Think about Google My Business. I think that is the absolute most important piece of real estate on the internet for small business, bar none, including my friends, the home inspectors, because we're small businesses.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're a local business needing local business. Okay. So what happens is Google Business Profile is it. All right. So what is the first thing that most people look at on Google Business Profile? Your reviews, right?
Reviews. Yeah.
I mean, that's it. So what's the second most important thing they look at? Your website.
Yeah.
And you know what? If it ain't up to snuff, woohoo,
Hmm.
really? All those people saying that good stuff about you? I don't think so. So
Well,
you can have a great Google Business Profile and you got good reviews, but when they come to your website, people are let down. The user experience is very poor. So that some of those people then won't use you.
mhm.
Okay, let's maximize that. It's easy to maximize and get a converting website.
Well, and yeah, to your point, I mean, you're saying the number one thing that they see is the reviews. Number
Right.
two, they get to your website. So let's put the reviews back on your website, right? So
Without
again, it's the number
question.
one thing. Yeah.
Yeah, without question. And if you have different ones on there, that would even be better
Well, I
because a
think
lot of
that
times you'll get a review, but it doesn't go on Google Business Profile.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and the tool that we use through Beth and her team is, it just automatically feeds updated reviews. So the newest review just pops up every day, I think.
Isn't that a beautiful tool?
It's amazing.
I
Yeah.
mean, it just continues to deliver great quality reviews right on your website about it. So what happens is when they come to your website, you got a message, what's in it for them by using it, and they see your reviews running down that right-hand column. There's social proof right there. Maybe I've made the right decision. I'm going to read on a little bit further.
Well,
Um,
the other thing too I like about it is the way, because like you're saying, they do stream down the right side of the
mhm.
screen. And so as they're scrolling down and reading down, they're also scrolling down with the reviews. So they just keep stacking up, you know?
Amazing how that happens, huh? That's not by accident, is it?
Yeah.
When we develop converting websites for clients, I mean, it's not, this isn't our first rodeo. We've been doing this forever, since Al Gore invented the internet. So the fact of the matter is, we're good at this. Our team is good at it, and so we look at everything. How is it we can give the client a better user experience so that you can get more sales? And that's why people can raise their hand and say, "I got over 300 home inspections last year, and I never talked to anybody in advance."
Yeah.
That's how. It's these techniques that we're talking about. Listen, these things aren't magic. These are science, really. So that's it. How about this one? This is all time one of my favorites. I got a face for
Mhm.
radio, but you
Mhm.
know what? Expertise proving videos. Woohoo! I
Yep.
know you got them on your website.
Yeah,
I'd
we
like to
do.
see more of our clients expand on this. I'd like to see them put a video. Hey, this is Ken. Thanks for stopping by Southern Home Inspection Services website today. Guess what? We're the guys that won't let you get stuck behind a money pit. Here's how. Boom, introduce it. Please take a minute, read the website. We have a live chat. If you have questions, please let us know. We'll take your questions on live chat 24/7. If somebody's not available, we'll get right back with you.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could get a pop-up like that from one of our customers that would do it, not one of our voiceover talents, but the actual home inspection business owner, that really makes it way better.
Yeah.
But how about people are looking for, well, what's Brandon doing when he gets out there in the field? So if they can see it on video on that converting website, woohoo,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they
Well,
followed you down. Remember, you had what's in it for them, and you got them great reviews on the right-hand side.
mhm.
I mean, why wouldn't you have a video?
Yeah, I still, on occasion, I still get invited to do a home buyer class, so with the
Mhm.
agents and whatnot. And, I can stand up there for 10 minutes and talk about what a home inspection is and why it's important. But I get way more oohs and ahs about, when I show a video that one of our guys shot, a couple of videos, and people really connect with that. And I think the thing that they get from that is, wow, Steve, our inspector, he found a bunch of stuff in these videos that I watched. I watched a bunch of them. He's going to find those weird things in my house too. And so that's where I think you get that personal connection where he shows his expertise by, showing that video and the findings that he sees every day.
That's true. And expertise proving video doesn't mean I saw a water stain on the entry ceiling when I came in. Like, duh, everybody in the whole room saw it, even the real estate agent.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, I think there's a wet spot there. That's not what we're talking about. How about that furnace flue how about that septic pump down in the basement? The vent line terminates into the furnace flue that I caught there on an inspection one time. I think I got 70,000 views. I mean, that thing was crazy. Who would have ever caught that? Anything that people can see, especially new construction videos. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
we would have new construction videos. They get 50,000 views. I mean, I had an air conditioner gone bad. It got 60,000 views. And it's just, I mean, it catches people's attention because these are expertise proving videos.
Yeah.
So if those are on your website, and they don't have to be 6 minutes, they need to be a minute, minute 30, so small.
Yeah.
But don't be Captain Obvious. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? If anybody can see it, don't put that on there. That's not helpful.
Well,
Um,
this comment here bleeds into the next one a little bit, but even having that kind of a video or something like that gives you a face too, right? It's a more personal connection where you're now a human that you can relate to, and so not just like some guy on the other side of the phone, right? So you actually get to introduce yourself ahead of time by showing your videos and your content.
I think people still want to do business with people, not faceless, nameless corporations. So I couldn't agree more. I mean,
Yeah.
you're exactly right. So who are you and who are your inspectors? Okay,
Mhm.
and we can do it in a variety of ways. Pictures are always great, but how about a video? How about if you had a little video to introduce yourself? Say, hi, I'm Ken, and I work for XYZ Home Inspection. And, I've been doing it for 20 years. And my greatest thing, the thing I do for entertainment is play the guitar.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to coming out and seeing you. I've been an
Here's a
inspector for 25 years.
and here's something we do is all of our guys have a quick little video that we text out beforehand with that 30-second introduction, right? And so the client gets that video saying, hey, I'm Brandon, your inspector. I'll be your inspector today. I'm going to do a good job for you. I got a family, a couple kids, whatever, right? And so again, you're kind of introducing yourself before you even get there.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I will tell you, and I've told this story a million times. When I go to an event, whether it's one of our own or I'm speaking at somebody else's event, people come up and say to me, say, Ken, I feel like I know you. And I'm like, well, help me understand how that works. And they said, we watched every video you had on the internet.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good because they're pre-sold on what I have to say. And
Mhm.
that's the way your website is. When you have videos that are expertise proving and you have people instead of just a faceless, nameless company, that makes a real connection. So people are more inclined to do it. So we've talked about the first four elements. I know the number one is the title, but what happens in the first four elements, look how much more business that you would get if you just had those four elements instead of just, any home inspection 99 plus reinspection included. I mean, that only gets so many people. Everybody else wants to know the real skinny. So I think that's it. Here's one of the other things, and Frank Luntz, which he's a different political stripe than I am, but the fact of the matter is, he wrote a good book. It's called "What Americans Really Want, Really." And what he did in his research was he found out that people don't want to shop for different companies for different services. So as a result of his work, like AT&T, they sell, internet, they sell TV, they sell phones, they sell the whole thing, kind of a multimedia package if you want. And they'll offer you discounts if you purchased a bundle. So what happens is when I read that book, I said, why don't we bundle these services? But they want to know what services you offer because if you are in Florida and you don't offer pool and spa, guess what? There's going to be a lot of business you're not going to get because a lot of our neighbors have pools.
Mhm.
Okay. And if you offer radon here in Florida, the big myth is we don't have radon, which is not necessarily true. We do have very low levels, but we do have it. Radon sales aren't going to be very popular here. Okay. So what happens is people want to know what you do. Okay. I don't have to call this person or that person or this person for all these services. I want somebody who can do it all for me.
Yeah.
If you have to make some calls, that's fine. They don't care if you do. They'll
Mhm.
let you be inconvenienced, but they don't want to be inconvenienced.
Yeah.
Okay, so people want a one-stop shop. So I bet if you said we do this, but I don't think it's just good enough to say the services you offered, is it? Don't you really have to talk about that service?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a little bit of a sales, I mean, not a sales bit, but education, right? We always educate our clients and we never sell them on a service, but we're there to, consult with them and help them through the process, right?
Education-based marketing.
Yeah.
So that's why on a converting website, you should have a services page for each service that you offer. You
Yeah.
should talk about what it is, how it works, and what they can expect.
And why not a video for each service, right?
Woo-hoo! We cooking with natural gas now. Hold on, hold on. We about to blow some inspectors out of the water. They thought the first four were just overwhelming. Now we're going to have a services page. Okay, so Brandon already gave you the key to it. Don't do your own thing at home. Wix ain't good. GoDaddy's no good. Don't do it. Get a professional company to do it. But so many home inspection service providers that provide websites in the industry don't provide this type of website. They don't know about it. They don't understand conversion. What they think is if it's got a cool look to it, it'll convert. But that isn't true at all. They have no idea about the elements of conversion.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's it. So what are our services? And we have a service page. We're going to describe what's important and why not. I can put this in. Well, you'll see it on the video again when they have it. So a sample inspection report. Wow. I guess people want to know what that looks like, right?
Sure, yeah.
So we had an agent call up one day to our home inspection company, and she said, "You know what? My customers hate this home inspection report, and it's hard to use, and I don't like it either. And it's just like 100 pages." And she said, "You guys don't use that report, do you?" And we said, "No, ma'am, we don't use that report." So what are people looking for in a home inspection report? And Brandon, you do a little class on it, you and Sarah, about how effective your inspection report is, because if I need a PhD to interpret that inspection report, that's not very user friendly, is it?
No.
I mean, with the reports you have, you sell it as being user friendly, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, and I mean, especially in today's world where we're modernizing and using technology, we market against the PDF, the old-fashioned. I mean, I even just a year or so ago, I saw a handwritten report. Believe it or not, it was
What?
it was on a seller's kitchen countertop. It was a house they were buying in a different state, I think, and their inspector sent them out a handwritten report with some check boxes and some check marks.
Well, I guess that's one step up from a cocktail napkin, but good Lord, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
yeah.
Was the handwriting any good?
No, it was all chicken scratch.
Not only was it shitty and written, he couldn't even read it. Oh, that might be okay for the home inspector. Can't get me on an E&O claim because you couldn't read it. Oh,
Yeah.
there's the E&O claim right there.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible. So a sample inspection report, because people want to see how easy it is to use. They also want to see how thorough it is. They
Yeah.
want to see what you actually looked for. So a great sample inspection report is very important. I always put 2 or 3, let them read as much as they want. We have a winner firm with a winner website. We have nothing but transparency. We want you to be happy with the transaction. Select us. Here's why you should.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. It goes back to what's in it for me by choosing this firm. We want to give you that.
I
Now,
mean, we can do a whole course and a whole class, call about just how to build your inspection report to make it marketable for your company too, right?
as a matter of fact, we have done that.
Yeah.
Whole course on it, done it in the past, for sure. Now, here's something home inspectors are afraid of. I ain't giving no guarantee. How come? How come you wouldn't give a guarantee? Well, I don't know. They might like find something they don't like, get a refund, ask me for a refund. And I'm like, well, if they find something you can't like and you can't work through that, do you think they should get a refund? No, 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 no. I'm like, oh, okay. So we did, Brandon, over 33,000 some odd home inspections before I sold our company. Okay. You know how many people asked me for a refund? One. And you know what? It was a ripoff. Okay. The lady just didn't, she was a notorious ripper. And she said, you know what? I didn't like it. I said, well, man, what was wrong with it? Well, I just didn't like it. I said, well, if you can help me understand it, I'll be glad to talk to you about this. Maybe we can fix it. Maybe we don't. No, I just want my money back. I'm saying, well, I don't know about that now. Let me think about it. But she had gotten another inspection already and didn't want to pay for hours. So I don't know what it was, but we just said, you know what? Here's a refund. So one person and over 33,000 home inspections. So I think that's a pretty safe thing, don't you?
Mhm.
But I think what happens is the opposite. How about this? If you refuse to give a guarantee, what does that say to the consumer?
That you're not confident. Yeah.
Okay, so we gave one $380 refund on 33,000 plus home inspections, or 33,000 people said, I could have said, I'm not selecting Ken's firm because you know what? He's not competent enough to give us a guarantee. He's not confident enough in his employees, his work, his whatever to give us a guarantee. Please.
Mhm.
Now, do you have to give this 200% guarantee? That's a gimmick. That's crap. Nobody believes that. Here's what happens is if you're not satisfied, you were at the inspection and you're not satisfied for whatever reason, let's talk about it. If we can't make it right, you get a refund. I mean, so what? I mean, that's just a good thing. But what happens is the not giving a refund is detrimental. And you should say what your refund policy is right up front.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We have
People
it in our
want,
contract.
yeah, people wanted to be transparent about it. I think you should put it on your website too, in my opinion. I mean, it's not something you want to address, but at the end of the deal, whatever, you need to work it in. It's not something you want to advertise because then they'll think, well, how come he's advertising? Some people say, we'll give you a 200% guarantee. We'll give you your money back and pay for another home inspector. And I'm like, that's begging for trouble.
Yeah.
Especially in certain markets. Okay, so you gotta have a guarantee because it's one of the 9 elements, and if people don't trust you, we said at the beginning, trust is like the most important thing. So, multiple ways to contact you. Oh, you don't have your phone number in the first fold? So sorry. Or what if you only have your phone number on there? And let's say you're in the field and you shouldn't be answering the phone when you're on the call on an inspection. You know why? Because that person paid for your undivided attention. Your client paid for your undivided attention. Okay, so now you're not taking the calls. Well, guess what happens when somebody doesn't answer the call today for home inspector, Brandon? What happens next?
Call somebody else.
Call somebody else, baby. Okay. So how about live chat? Could you have that?
You
Okay, you could have
got it.
live chat. How
Yeah.
could you could have how about text? And you could get right back with them.
Yep.
Okay. And how about one of my all-time favorites, online scheduling.
Yep.
Online scheduling, now there is a unique concept for today. I don't know if y'all hadn't heard that or not, but if you hadn't, you'll be getting yourself an electric clothes dryer here pretty soon. You under a rock.
Yeah.
Okay. Online scheduling, people will tell us that don't want to do it. I'm not doing that because I like to control my own schedule. Well, let me say this. You can set your own time and all the parameters around it. How is it you can't control your own schedule? So people that don't do it are low information about why they wouldn't do it. But what really got me years and years ago was somebody said, "Hey, Ken, I can book a hotel at 2 o'clock in the morning. How come I can't book a home inspection with your firm?"
Mhm.
I'm like, "Well, that's a damn good idea, but online scheduling wasn't really around then." So I said, "Ooh, as soon as it came on, we got it."
Yeah.
That to me is the only thing, the ultimate thing. So if you have a converting website and you have the information, the 9 elements on there in the right way, it's kind of like Colonel Sanders, herbs and spices, once you get that, then you got great fried chicken once you get them in the right order.
Mhm.
So if you have a converting website, people following down, pretty soon they say, "You know what, Brandon's firm is right for me. I'm going to go ahead and book." Well, you know what? They don't want to fill out a form and wait for you to get them back.
Mhm.
No, we're a society of instant gratification. We want to get that done and move on to the next task that we have. Okay, so no online scheduling is like the kiss of death for a big fraction of your potential inspections.
Mhm.
So enough said on that, right? I mean, do we need to beat that dead horse? Hello, you can set your own parameters.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the points to make here is, you don't want to exclude any kind of demographic or group of people that, we want to make it so anybody can schedule however they want, right? They can call, they can text, they can schedule online, they can chat with us on our website. So we're not going to exclude anybody. We're going to make it easy for anybody to give us their money and make it as easy as possible.
Yeah. I'll give you a classic example, banking. In the old days, and Brandon, this was way before you, bro. You had to walk into the bank. So then they said, "Oh, that's good, but maybe we could give the consumer some kind of alternative, like maybe it's raining and they don't want to come in the bank, or maybe they're introverted, so maybe they'll drive-in window." Okay, and so man, that was progress right there. Somebody definitely got them an electric clothes dryer. So then what happened was they said, "Ooh, we might even be able to improve this as technology came on, and we got the ATM, right?
Yeah.
And then you could use it anywhere." But today we got a full-fledged gig going now. You can do online banking. Okay, so you can still walk in the branch, you can still go to the drive-in window, you can still use the ATM, and you can online bank.
Mhm.
I mean, is there anybody that can't use banking services in the way in which they desire?
Yeah.
That's what we have to do in the home inspection industry. And Brandon, you nailed it, man. Let them call us, let them text us, let them still, fill out online, give us multiple ways to schedule that inspection.
Yeah.
What we care about is closing the deal. Why
Mhm.
should you let contacting you hold you back? I mean, how many times you have people, or especially agents on Facebook say, "I need an inspection"? I mean, social media people dialed up our team and said we need an inspection. I'm like,
Yes.
all right then. That's pretty cool. And then a way to schedule online. So those kind of went together, 9 and 10. But I mean, when we see people in the first fold, and when we think about the first fold, what I really mean by that, you look at a newspaper, you pick it up from a newsstand or news box, and what you see is the top half where the most important stories are. So that's
Yeah.
where people read first because they figure if they can get you to read the first fold stories, you'll read the rest, or at least a portion of it. Okay, and if you like, and Brandon, I know you may not know this either, but they used to have newspaper boxes where you could look through the glass and see before you put your quarter in. Okay, you can
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
what the headlines were. Oh, I want today's paper because the headline was, woohoo, okay, I'm putting my quarter in. All right, or whatever it costs, 10 cents in the first day. When I think of the nickel when I got it. But so that's it. So if people can't see your phone number and other relevant ways to get in touch with you to schedule an inspection, that's pretty bad. So we see it all the time. No phone number in the first fold. I mean, like, hello, where are they? Okay, and then online scheduling, of course. You should have a convenient way to do it. So those are the 9 elements that really differentiate a standard website from a converting website.
Mhm.
So how about that? I mean, things you want to add to it, Beth, things you want to add to it, things I might have missed on this.
Well, you kind of alluded to it a little bit ago, which was, we're professionals in our trade, right? But this is a completely different trade. And
Right.
so that was the lesson that I had to learn the hard way early on in my career as an inspector was I'm just not capable of producing a profitable and professional website that's going to convert people into paying customers. And that's what it comes down to. Even after my first website, I went to 2 other companies. Both, that's what they did was build websites, but they didn't have these elements even integrated to those websites at all either. And so finally, once we get a hold of Beth, we've had now 2 websites through Beth and her team, and they've been amazing.
I will tell you, home inspector help was not around when we first started. So Beth and I got duped by somebody who sold websites to the home inspection industry,
Yeah.
and it never did anything. We didn't make it was a glorified business card online. It's like, what? How does this work?
Mhm.
So the minute we said that's it, I learned about the internet. We said that's it. That's not going to work. So I want to say other thing, and this might be a moment Dill may have to cut me off of the video, but the thing about it is this: a lot of home inspectors are cheap. Okay, they don't mind spending 20,000 or 10,000 or 5,000 or whatever the cost of an infrared camera now. They don't mind spending that, but to invest money in a website, they don't get it. But you know what? If the best home inspector in the world is known by no one or few, they go out of business, right?
Yeah.
So I think that people should really think about redirecting some of that gadget money into an investment in getting more business. And once they get more business, then they can buy more gadgets if they so desire.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, you see, when the market is slowed down right now because of high interest rates and a few other factors, then what is the first thing home inspectors do? Not just home inspectors, but small business in general. They cut back on their marketing. But you're up 22% or 20% in a down market. The market's down 22%. You're up 20 because you haven't cut back your marketing expense. Okay. Because if you're going to cut back, cut back someplace else.
Mhm.
As Bohr said in their advertising commercial says, compromise elsewhere.
I knew you were going
Uh,
to say that.
yeah, because that's true. Compromise elsewhere. Man, stop buying them damn tools and, stop getting 3 ATVs and, all the stuff you get and start investing in your business. And that's the way to do it. Okay. I'm not going to rail on that because a lot of good home inspectors out there do invest in their business. I get it, but so many of them just don't even think that's important. So I'm kind of stunned by that. Okay, let me see if I can open this PowerPoint back up and get back on our presentation. I got a couple last things that we're going to talk about. Okay, we talked about that. Ignore the placeholder words. We got the 9 elements. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's one, Brandon. I think we really talked about it because we're getting close to the top of the hour, but we talked about with the 9 elements, we talked about social proof. Okay, one of the things we're doing is gathering social proof, that integration right with your website. How about video marketing? Okay, so video marketing certainly goes right with it. How about when you look at social media? Can you use elements from your social media from your website on drive traffic back and forth or visitors back and forth? The
Yeah.
answer is yes. So other ways we could think of, we could really, again, go into a whole course about, and we have articles about it. And what we'll do is post some articles underneath this video so that people can learn how these things integrate together without us having to spend a bunch of time on it tonight. So please know that when you have a converting website, that it does integrate completely with all your other marketing strategies. Okay, so it definitely does. Let's look at a couple more. There was a couple here that I really liked. Um, how does a converting website enhance your customer experience? Okay, so I think I pushed the wrong button. Okay, so Brandon, your thoughts on that?
I mean, in a lot of cases, it's the first introduction you have to your company to the client, right? And so it's just like any other first impression. In this case, you want it to be an impression of trustworthiness. We've talked about that a little bit here already by reviews and other elements that speak to the client. Um, are they professional? Those are probably the two big ones that come to my mind, especially, versus is it all about me, my credentials, my license number, that means nothing to the customer, right? And what are they going to do for me? And that's really the introduction that I give to the client if that's their first, experience with us is our website.
I have to tell you, I agree 200%. I think here's what happens, and you know this because you've answered the phone just like I have hundreds of times. So when people have already seen your website, it's way easier to talk to people about it. You don't have to sell them anything. They've already consumed the content on your website. They're basically predisposed to schedule. But think about this, mom and dad are, put a contract on a house and, dad has to go out of town on a Monday and mom is left there alone to get the home inspection. And so she's reading websites and she's reading all about my credentials, me this, me that, this, that, and the other. And she's bummed out. And then she comes across your website, which addresses the biggest concern that she has on her mind is, how are you going to help me prevent buying the money pit? That's what kept me and my husband up last night, was worrying about buying that money pit. And what happens, your website, the first thing she sees, your first impression, like you described, is a total mind reliever. You know what she does? She sits back and now she's going to read. And you know what happens is when you speak at a real estate group, they have their arms folded like this. You know what I'm saying? You know what that nonverbal
Oh yeah.
clue is? We ain't listening to a damn thing you got to say. But you know what? That's how she felt after reading these non-converting websites. Her back was up. She's like, what's wrong with these people? Then
Mhm.
she reads, you address her biggest fear, biggest problem right up front, man. She unfolds those arms. Now she's really ready to receive the rest of the message that you have to share. Okay, so it's that user experience. It's that, okay, finally somebody gets it message. And and make no mistake about it, they shop, they do. Especially today when, inflation's high and all that, people are looking for a value.
Mhm.
But what they're not looking for is to get ripped. Okay, so when she sees your website, then she can just take that moment and now she reads on. So I think then what happens is she works right down the 9 elements. And it's easy to see why customers then book online with you because it's all about them. It's all about them. I'm not going to book with Brandon until I can look at his inspection report. What if it's horrible? What if it's that handwritten? What if it's on a cocktail napkin with a drink stain and we can't read it? I mean, there is no unimportant elements on that website.
Mhm.
None. And they have to be thought through from the consumer's perspective. I say to people all the time, have you ever gone looking for something and you see somebody's website and you say, what's that joker doing? I mean, that's the worst website I ever saw. I
Mhm.
mean, I can't tell you how many times our team looks at them and says that. It's just terrible. The user experience is horrible. They don't address anything I'm looking for. It's all about them. But that's not what this is about. So I think converting websites give the customer a relaxed moment, a breath of fresh air. Okay, now somebody finally gets it. Let's have the conversation. So to me, that's it. Okay. Um, this is one of the things we don't really, okay. So this is a kind of a hard thing for me to teach. Okay. Do you want all clients? Okay, we kind of alluded to it. People say, yeah, I'll take everybody that wants to come. Okay, so that's great. But we specialized in clients that were affluent. So we spent 100% of our resources marketing clients that were affluent through their mortgage brokers, real estate agents, offices, everything. With magazine publications, we marketed to the affluent. All right. If you were willing to pay our price, of course we would take you. Okay. But we didn't spend any money getting you. Okay. So by asking this question, if you specialize in log homes like Rich did, when I mentioned him before on a call, then you really want to make sure that your website does this, and this for log home buyers. But if you want to specialize in people that are purchasing in a certain geographic location within your community, couldn't you use your website to focus them?
Sure, yeah.
You can use your website to get your ideal clients. But I guess the first thing you have to do is say, who's my ideal client?
Mhm.
But then once you understand that target audience, it's way easier to start grabbing it, right? Because you
Yeah.
know you can learn what their fears and concerns are, what their problems are, all the whole thing that we start doing in market research. So if you have a group of clients that what you call your ideal clients, then maybe what you're looking for is people that are and Jim Davis always had a good slogan about this. He's got your first time home buyers, then he's got your move up home buyers, then he's got your expert home buyers. Okay, and so move up is just somebody who's bought a house before and they've got a little equity and they're moving on up. Family's got bigger, whatever. That wasn't his target. His target was expert home buyers. And all of the content that he wrote around that website that we did was for that expert home buyer. Okay, the videos that you'd offer were different, right? The content would be different. Okay, they bought more than one home. They know quality varies greatly. They know price is less of a determinant of success with the home inspector. Okay, so if somebody's $10 cheaper, they ain't choosing them. Okay, so you can attract the right client on a converting website once you understand what the right client is. So sure, can you attract everybody? Yeah, but do you specialize in something in your community? If you do, let this website work for you.
Mhm.
Okay, so I mean, if you're in a small market, Brandon, like you guys are, I
Yeah.
mean, your ideal client is potato farmers. Okay, so you have some, but not really enough, right?
Yeah.
No, no, no. But one of the things that you could do is you could focus on the group with the same religion that you have, or if you're in a big
Okay.
community, the same university you went to.
Mhm.
Okay, so and you wouldn't have to do that in general. You could do it through specialty landing pages, whatever query they typed in, that could come up for them to see. So there's a lot of things that you can do with a converting website. But the fact of the matter is, once your target audience lands those eyeballs on it, then guess what? It better have those elements.
Yeah.
It better have those elements. Otherwise, you lose. Okay. The top of the hour has since gone, and I know you got a coaching thing you got to get to with the kids. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So I'm going to say anything else, Beth,
Uh,
anything?
for me, this is I'm just really passionate about this one because it is so important, especially in today's world where people are looking online. If you're not online in the future, you're just not going to exist.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, people that on that Facebook page that you were on and said, "Oh, you don't need no website." I'm like, "Ooh, one of two things. Either they really believe that, and I'm sorry for them, or secondly, they're trying to throw their competitor off
Yeah.
by not having a website." So, okay. Well, the thing I'm really thankful for tonight is the power didn't go off. So that's
My one thing I would say about this whole call, the website is so very important. But when you discuss the videos that go along with it, I mean, that's so powerful. I mean, I talk to all clients about that, producing videos, just like Brandon said about producing services videos and producing the videos that introduce him and his inspectors to their client. That is powerful also. So video is very powerful.
Yeah.
if you don't believe it, look at YouTube.
Yeah, really.
And that's only one of the major platforms. I mean, there's platforms now popping up right and left, Daily Motion, Rumble, the list goes on and on. So people understand the value of it, and it's really good for complex topics where somebody can't understand it. Service pages, great videos explain what it is. What is a sewer scope? Okay. And, what is this? What is that? And if you're in an area, and I know that for a fact that there are areas that they have a lot of aluminum wiring, why wouldn't you have a video right on your website addressing aluminum wiring under the electrical section? So just a lot of great information can be conveyed simply and easily via video. Right on sales, pool and spa sales. What do you do and how do you do it? Why does it make a difference to the consumer? So if you do leak testing as opposed to no leak testing, all kind of great things you can do to get more sales. But it begins with, yeah, the customer has to understand what's in it for them to choose your firm. If they don't understand that, then they won't choose your firm. But most home inspectors can't really say, if I'll say to you, what are the 3 most important facts about your firm that makes you more powerful than everybody else in your marketplace? They can't tell me. They can't tell me. And that's sad. That's very sad. So I think everybody should look at it. So homework, we talked about it at the very beginning. Look at everybody else's website. If they don't have these 9 elements, shame on them. If you don't have these 9 elements, get Beth on the phone at the Home Inspector Help and speakwithbeth.com. Here's the way you can contact us right here. You can start a conversation. We're not here to sell you anything. We're here to talk to you just like we're talking to you tonight. So just go to speakwithbeth.com, set up an appointment on her schedule, let her talk to you about whatever you got on your mind, okay? Brandon and I are out doing hustling, doing these things, trying to get videos because we look pretty, and so we're trying to get out there and get these videos done. Well, Beth is back slaving at the office, trying to
That's
talk to
me.
everybody.
That's me.
You're liable to talk to our two friends, the directors of security, Cooper and Sadie as well.
Yeah, right.
So, okay. Everybody, thank you for being on the call. If you listen to
Yeah.
it later, we got some other resources underneath this call. I think that'll help you, links to stories and some other things that'll be interesting for you. Okay, Dill, thanks for being on. I hope we didn't give you too many edits tonight.
Okay.
All right, guys. Everybody have a great evening.
See you guys.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye now.
Later.